Alright, what's up, nerds? Today, we'll be taking a look at why Phil Spencer is dumb. Yeah, he's dumb. Now, I may not be the executive vice president of Xbox for a billion-dollar tech company, but I have an idea of what the community wants. See, Microsoft in recent years, after the Xbox 360, has really toned it down when it comes to real competitive gaming. What I mean by that is making Xbox more of a user interface to do other things besides play games. The one problem with this is that everyone else already does the same thing. Hence, focusing on great Xbox exclusives has kind of sunken into the background. This is an absolute shame because Xbox has had some killer exclusives that I probably don't need to mention but will anyway. Halo, Gears of War, Forza, and many others. It's fine for Xbox to want to focus on third-party games and create an all-encompassing entertainment hub for their consumers, but there's not a great balance. It's hard to feel hype about Xbox when the people at Xbox don't even pretend to be excited about it. Xbox doesn't feel like some cool, awesome line of gaming consoles, it more so feels like a standard product that's expected. And so, we're diving into the man behind all of this, and that man is Phil Spencer. After the embarrassing launch of the Xbox One and the departure of Don Mattrick to take over as CEO of Zynga, a shakeup occurred, but eventually Phil Spencer was announced as a permanent replacement for Mattrick's old job. He was formerly the chief of Microsoft Studios and has now kept his position as head of Xbox for many years. The problem with him is he's trying to eliminate exclusives by doing so very publicly. Now you may be asking, but yeah, he's playing the moral, amazing, godlike figure compared to Sony's booger-picking selfish jerk persona of not working with other competitors. And yeah, you would be correct. But the problem with that is it gives no sustainability for their fans. I do consider it a necessary part of the industry. The industry is competitive, and generating a pacifist persona contrary to what they created Xbox to be back in the early 2000s is a total letdown. Quoting the big man himself, exclusives are completely counter to what gaming is about. And no Xbox exclusives for a couple of years. This makes upgrading to next-gen's hardware feel totally lackluster. They're literally just going to repeat the Xbox One except without actually trying to be competitive in the first place. It's not a focus for them, and boy does it make you just want to buy a PS5. The logic is completely flawed though, because first of all, Apple TV. Second of all, everyone else already has a all-encompassing hub for gaming and entertainment. So now my question is, what they do with their studios that are now counted to 23. They have 23 studios. Why do you need 23 studios? And they bought Bethesda in late 2020. That's not a long time ago. If we all sang Kumbaya together, then there would be no PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, or Stadia. Well, actually, that would be a good thing depending on the latter there. We would only need one console if everyone just followed what Xbox is doing. PlayStation and Xbox wouldn't be able to sustain themselves after just quoting that the difference between them is that their controllers have different button sizes and joysticks. The competition and cesspool that is Twitter, filled with video game fanboys, are always going to be there, like it or not. And refusing to give a reason for your fans to buy your product you're spending billions of dollars on comes off as a colossal waste of money. Solve world hunger if you're going to keep doing this. What's the point of Xbox if they're just going to push this awful narrative? Not to mention how hard it is to look at because of how easy the fix is. Ramping up production with their studios and buying the rights to other games solves this problem quite handily. Sony does it, Nintendo does it, and Xbox should too. Game Pass is great, but it's just a subscription service. You can't become a successful gaming monopoly without still using the simple basics of exclusivity. And if they're not trying to become that, then why are they here? So yeah, I dislike Phil Spencer with a bit of a passion. Being unsure of what will be an exclusive and what won't be doesn't help anyone, and just help result in a botched launch for the Series X. So they didn't learn their lesson from 2013's launch of the Xbox One, even with Phil Spencer saying that they hadn't done their best. If you have a PC, which many gamers do, you're getting the same experience with Xbox. Bluetooth a controller, and now it's an Xbox. Yes, the current hardware is up to date and pretty affordable, but that's besides the point. In just a few years, you'll be able to buy a PC affordably with the same specs the Series X has, now with a wider library. The only reason why PlayStation gets away with it is because they have exclusives. In fact, looking at console sales, the PS5 is already way ahead of the Xbox. In fact, when the Xbox 360 began to go downhill with console sales, it just so happened to be when they switched to the entertainment hub thingamabobber by introducing the Kinect. which ultimately led to the PS3 overtaking the 360 in total console sales. There's a lesson in that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.